Hello, Chase Oaks family. So good to see you. And I'm sure you're wondering, speaking of Chase Oaks family, when can we gather again in our physical locations, meaning do church services at our various locations? And that's a natural question, of course, that we're all asking because things now in Texas are opening up in these early phases. You can get your hair cut like I did, not just did. You can get your nails done. You can even go to restaurants, things like that. So what about church? And I would love to say that, man, we're able just to do it really quickly. And nobody is looking as forward to that as I am. However, it's going to be a little while because as you might imagine, large physical gatherings would be recommended to happen at the end of a phased reopening, not at the beginning. And we really want to honor that. I will share the plan here in a little bit, but first I do want to just explain why we would say it's not wise to open up physical locations too soon. The first reason is love for our community. By opening up large gatherings in a church the size of Chase Oaks too early, really does have the potential to jeopardize human lives in a pandemic, to hasten the spread. We don't want to do that. And also it jeopardizes our reputation in the community. If it looks like from the outside looking in, we just want to be with each other so much, we don't care what happens to other people, well, that doesn't look so great and looks very self-serving, doesn't represent the cause of Christ well. And so the first reason is love for our community. Also, we want it to be a good experience. That's the second reason. When we do reopen, and right now, by doing it too soon with all the stringent guidelines, it would not be a great experience for anybody. It'd be really tough to do Kids Zone and everything else. So until Kids Zone can feel like Kids Zone and Lift can feel like Lift and our Chase Oaks church services can feel like Chase Oaks church services where we can invite our friends. Remember, this is not our party. One of our DNA statements is not about us, but for those who have yet to come. Until we can provide a really good experience, then we don't believe it's wise to reopen. We believe it's too soon. And the third reason is effectiveness and mission outside of the walls of our church buildings. We believe that right now in this pandemic, more than ever is the time to be the church, not just go to church, but to be the church in our community. Right now is the time to be on mission outside the walls of our church. I mean, the truth is, Chase Oaks Church is not closed. We're very much open. In fact, we're more open than we have ever been as a church. Through our online church services, we are reaching more people than we ever would have dreamed of reaching before this pandemic. It's easier than ever to invite our friends to encounter church in this online phase, and we've seen that. Also, we've had unprecedented opportunities in terms of mission, in terms of serving our community and growing the reputation of Christianity, growing the reputation of Christ than we ever could have dreamed or imagined. And when you look at what's happened with the YMCA partnership and food partnerships, and that's just getting started. And this summer will be of any summer we've ever had as a church, this will be a summer where Chase Oaks is on mission in a way that will not only be highly effective, I believe, but will change us forever in a really, really cool way. We believe that trying to meet too early would take away resources and energy that would allow that external ministry to happen because it would take all of our energy just to try to have a limited experience that wouldn't even be very good anyway. So all that said, we don't want to open too early. However, we do have a plan to resume our physical gatherings at our church locations. And let me share with you that plan. It's in 3 phases. Here's phase 1, is that we are online through the month of June. So online through the month of June in phase 1. Phase 2, we will do team training at each of our locations in live church services that will go out online. And so here's what that means by team training, is that there will be, you'll notice this if you watch, as you watch online, if you're not involved, there will be a small limited sort of crowd of people, if you can call it a crowd. But those are all team members, people who serve on different ministry teams as they're getting ready for the time that we can resume services at physical locations in phase 3. So if you're like itching, you're like, oh man, in July, I'd love to be able to do that. It's not exclusive. Just join a ministry team and reach out to us, and you can learn about how to join one of those ministry teams. And then phase 3 is in-person church services for all age groups in a new normal, whatever that new normal will look like. It won't be like it was 3 months ago, but it will be a good experience as we are able to gather together in that new normal as we figure out what that'll be. We do have a date for that. That's a planned date. It's not set in stone. Can't set anything in stone right now. But here's the planned date, and that is the weekend of August 7 to 9 would be phase 3. In-person services, again, resume for all age groups at every campus, August 7 to 9. That coincides purposefully with back to school. So at the time when, as parents, you're trying to get your kids adjusted to going back to school again, that's the same time to go back to church again. And we believe that's a good time. We'll also learn some things from schools. So that's the plan, but let me again give a big disclaimer. You ready for a big disclaimer? And that is, it's a plan. It's a provisional plan. We don't know what we don't know, meaning we don't know how the pandemic's going to go. We don't know how the guidance is going to change. But we do believe it's helpful to have a plan to shoot for, a target to shoot for. And if we have to adjust that plan, adjust the target, we will. But that's the plan right now. Until then, when we can meet together physically again, let's remember the church isn't closed. It's more open than ever. And it's never a better time to be a church on mission than right now in this pandemic and this difficulty in our culture. And as we've talked about, it's great to go to church. I look forward to that. But we have the opportunity to be the church in a whole new way. And so what does that mean for each of us to participate faithfully and fully in what God's up to? Well, the first thing I'd say in this season is prioritize online church attendance and invite your friends. There's never an easier time to invite friends, never an easier time for them to say yes than in this period of online church, for them to be able to experience that. And for us, still the opportunity to worship God together, to hear from His Word, to apply His truth to our lives, to see life change. We do have to push through some screen fatigue, I think, as we're doing all these Zoom meetings and stuff to stay faithful. So let me encourage us all to stay with it. Secondly, to be a Here for Good person, to join the Here for Good movement. You'll be hearing more about that, more specifics of what that means, and it's going to be a really cool season, a really cool summer. Number 3 is to commit to your small group. It's in a time of social distancing, it's more important than ever to stay connected. And so if you're in a small group, and stay committed to that. If you're not in a group, let me encourage you to join groups as we get those going. Hundreds of you have done that in the pandemic. Really, really cool. And thank you also, everybody who continues to be faithful financially, which allows us to be able to do everything that we're able to do in our community and world right now. Man, I can't wait till when we can physically regather. I promise you, in the meantime, God is very, very much at work. And we're going to come out of this a way better church, and I believe way better people as well. Please let us know how we can serve you. Let us know what your needs are. Let us know what your prayer requests are. You can do that on our website. We need to get through this together. And please know I love you. I'm praying for you, and look forward to being with you online until we can regather physically.